Welcome to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining us. I've got Chad Burmeister, co-founder, SalesX Inc. on the show with me today. Chad, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Glad you're here. All right, tell us about your background in sales.
Yeah, I've been selling for about 25 years. My first job out of school was in transportation. So I worked for Airborne Express and then FedEx, back when they actually would send you to a 2 to 3 week training program at corporate headquarters. So complete with videotape and a lot of hands-on intensive training. And that's where I got some lumps early in my career, was learning how to be a seller. And I think I kind of miss that these days, right? We've gone to a lot of remote video learning. So I think physical in-person is still a good way to go. But that was my early days. Since then, I've transitioned into technology sales for now about the last 15 to 20 years with companies like Riverbed Technology, WebEx that got acquired by Cisco, On24, most recently RingCentral, and now I'm running ScaleX.ai to help companies accelerate their sales powered by artificial intelligence.
How did you start ScaleX.ai and salesai.io?
Yeah, so at RingCentral, I managed a team of about 100 inside salespeople. So both inbound as well as outbound reps. We call the inbound SDRs, the outbound BDRs, or business development reps. And the biggest challenge I found with the outbound business development reps is that in today's world, if you don't personalize your emails, then they just fall on deaf ears, right? You and I get so many emails per day that they just go into spam and we don't actually read them. But if you take 5-10 minutes to personalize an email and say, hey, I see that you've launched a program and you interview 100 to 150 CEOs a month. That's very cool. If I make mention of where you live, have you visited such and such a restaurant in your area? Really make it personal. Then my reply rates could go up by 5x or more. And the challenge that I saw at RingCentral is that although it sounds like a good idea to teach a team of 100 people to do that, in practice, because of time in the day and skill sets and other things, they don't actually end up doing the behaviors. So that's really the mission that I went out to solve, was how can we create a company that helps reps personalize at scale their messaging? And so that's really what we've built.
Got it. Brilliant. What do you think is going to change in the next few years?
I just attended this conference in San Francisco called the AI Summit, and it's the largest AI summit for business. And a director from Morgan Stanley was there, and he said, it's such an early stage of AI, even though it's been going on for 10 or 15, 20 years. It's now just finally the computing power is there. And there were two takeaways from that speech. Number one is Morgan Stanley is using it for all their financial advisors. Right? Who do you call? What do you say? What do you sell to the person? Do they have 2.1 kids and a car? That's probably a different sale than the person who lives in, Memphis, Tennessee is different than the person who lives in downtown New York City and has a different job and a different family. So they're using AI to do all that. The downside, if you're not careful, is that another speaker said, for the first time ever, knowledge workers are growing at a slower pace than revenue is. And his guess was that it's about a 30% fewer need for knowledge workers to grow the same amount of revenue at the same clip. And I believe it. I attended the Sales Enablement Society last week as well. And they talked about the fact that people are missing their numbers more and more these days. And so I think you used to hire a bunch of people to hit their number, and now fewer people are actually hitting their number. So I just think it's changed, and 30% fewer workers over time because now AI can power a team more effectively.
And it seems to me that a lot of people are getting away from the personal touch on a close. They're just hoping that the machine does it and they don't have to face the rejection of the hard work of being an effective communicator of your message. Am I click on the same page with you on that?
Yeah, well, that's what's interesting. I think if you are the conversation doesn't go away. And in fact, there's more weight on the sales conversation now than there was 3 years ago. Because you can automate some of the tasks of the emails with personalization, and you can automate proposals, and you can do a lot of automation. but you better elevate your game as a seller to be able to have better conversations with better discovery so that you can sell more effectively. So I think there'll be some big winners in the next 5 years. And then if you're a navigator, right, Dave Curlin put out a study that said the phone tree navigators who just navigate and find people to talk to, those folks are going to have a hard time in the next couple of years.
I get the outbound BDR, KPIs, key performance indicators of the past are the past. So give me the new metrics.
Yeah, it's interesting. Across most customers, they're still on the old metrics. So the old metrics are 50 sales activities per day. When I was at WebEx 12, 13 years ago, it was 30 activities a day. And so, I think a lot of companies say, wow, we've gone from 30 to 50. It's amazing. Well, that's actually not amazing at all, because at 50 activities a day, that's about 20 or 30 phone calls. It means you're talking to one prospect. It takes 20 dials to talk to one prospect. So the new metrics are 500 activities a day. And frankly, that's about half of what it could be. We just don't want to scare our customers. And so the new metrics are 2 hours of dial time on an automated dialing platform. We call it agent-assisted dialing. So 2 hours of work, you get 250 dials in. Then you send 100 personalized emails using the platform. And then you send 100 social connections so that you're either sending your first, second, or third social outreach. But now instead of hiring a team of 8 or 10 SDRs, you can hire a team of, instead of hiring a team of 10, we would recommend hire a team of 7 or 8 and use the rest to fund the technology that you need to be 10 times more effective.
Got it. Chad, thanks for being a guest on the show.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. I look forward to hearing more updates about how to keep the front lines working so that the revenue continues to grow. And you're the guy at the bottom line on that one. All right, you've been watching CEO Money with Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.